The lesson for today is a variable expression. For variable expression, we will translate a variable expression that involves multiple operations. So now let's look at our first example. In order to translate a variable expression into math, we have to look for the key phrase that involves the expression. So let's look for example 1. As you can see, we have 7 decreased by 3 times a number. We know 7 is a numeric, so we will decrease this 7 by 3 times a number. So what type of operation are we looking for? We're looking for the decrease. Decrease will indicate a negative number, negative. And the times will indicate a multiply. So we will decrease this 7 by 3 times a number y, whatever the y value is. So how do we translate? We will write as 7 minus 3 times y. 7 times 3 times y. So always just look the key phrase that will indicate what type of operation involved for that expression. So in this example 1, we have a 2 operation. One is a decrease, which is negative, and one is a times, which is multiply. So let's look at example number 2, or the next example. In example number 2, we have 5 times the sum of a number and a 5. This time we don't know this number, so we will use a variable x to indicate the number, which is unknown, x. So what key operation are we looking for? We have a 1 operation here will indicate a times, which is multiply, and the sum. The sum will indicate addition. But what are we adding? We know we're multiplying a 5 to this sum. Always the sum involved, we either adding a 2 terms, whether it's a 2 variable or a 2 number. So we will add this number and 5. Then we will multiply 5. So how do we translate? We know we have the sum of x plus 5. Then we will multiply by 5. Now let's look at our third example. Our third example involves similar way to different operation. We see that we have a times, which will indicate a multiply. And we see the difference. The difference is a negative. Decrease and difference are the same. What is the difference? This number and 5. So we always have to use a variable to represent which is unknown number. This time we will use k. So the 6 we will multiply the difference between k and 5. K minus 5. Then we will multiply by 6. So you read as 6 times k minus 5. You must subtract this before you multiply the 6, whatever the k value is. If k is 7, is 7 minus 5, then you multiply by 6. That's the type of operation that we're looking for. So let's see our last example. This is different than the other 3 examples that we've seen. What type of operation are we looking for? We're looking for less. Less will indicate a negative. Then also the times will indicate a multiply. We know we are multiplying a 3 and a number, whatever the number is. Let's call this number for y. We know this is 3. We know this is a 7. But this time we have less than. Always if it's less than or more than. If then comes after less or after more, we will reverse the operation because the 7 is less than 3 times a number. If it wasn't then we could not write less than. We write 7 less, then we subtract by that. But now we have 7 is less than, which is a then. Then we reverse the operation. First we will write 3 times y minus 7. All 4 examples are similar idea, but the only difference, which is example number 4, is the then, because the then, it will indicate reversing the operation from the last to the first.